Have you ever dealt with heavy periods, spotting between cycles, or frustrating fertility struggles and felt like the answers you were given just didn't make sense? What if I told you the health of your gut and vaginal microbiome could be playing a major role in your symptoms, even influencing things like fibroids, cervical inflammation, and irregular bleeding? Today, we're diving into the uterine microbiome, what it is, why it matters, and most importantly, how you can support it to feel better and take back control of your health. Most people think of gut bacteria when they hear the word microbiome. But here's something you probably don't know: your uterus has its own microbiome too. When it's balanced, it protects your reproductive health. When it's disrupted, it can trigger inflammation, irregular bleeding, and even affect your hormone balance. For a long time, doctors believed the uterus was sterile, that there was no bacteria in there at all. But advanced DNA testing has proven that there's a low level of bacteria present, just like in your gut or vagina. The healthy uterine microbiome is dominated by lactobacillus, the same beneficial bacteria that keep your vaginal pH low and protected. These bacteria act like a security system. They keep harmful microbes out, they reduce inflammation, and they create an environment where your hormones can function properly. First, let's talk about fibroids. Fibroids are incredibly common, affecting up to 70% of women by age 50. We've always known that estrogen drives fibroid growth, but what many women don't realize is that your gut bacteria help control estrogen levels. Here's how. When estrogen is processed in the liver, it's supposed to leave the body through your stool. Certain gut bacteria produce an enzyme called beta glucuronidase that can reactivate that estrogen, sending it back into your bloodstream. This is called the estrobolome. And when it's out of balance, it creates a high estrogen state, basically fueling fibroid growth. This imbalance can make periods heavier, cramps worse, and fibroids grow more quickly. So if you've been diagnosed with fibroids, it's worth considering whether your gut health is part of the picture. Spotting between periods is another symptom many women deal with. It's often brushed off as just hormones, and if you've had a normal PAP, you've likely been told there's nothing to worry about. But recent research shows a strong connection between endometrial polyps, uterine inflammation, and spotting. Here's what happens. When vaginal bacteria like Gardnerella or Fusobacterium travel upwards toward the uterus, they can irritate the endometrial tissue, the lining of the uterus. This creates tiny micropolyps and fragile blood vessels. This can cause light, irregular spotting, bleeding after sex, or in between periods. If untreated, this can even affect fertility because chronically inflamed uterus tissue isn't receptive to implantation. And with spotting, you might also be told you have a friable cervix, meaning it bleeds easily when touched. This often happens with chronic cervicitis, where the cervix is inflamed due to either an infection or a microbiome imbalance. And even without a sexually transmitted infection, certain bacteria like Gardnerella or Prevotella can create inflammation that causes the cervix become raw and irritated. This is why some women experience postcoital bleeding, especially during perimenopause or postpartum when your estrogen levels are changing. The good news is that there are steps you can take today to support your microbiome and your reproductive health. Number one, nourish your gut. Eat fiber-rich foods, limit processed sugar, and consider probiotics that include lactobacillus and bifidobacterium strains. Number two, protect vaginal balance. Avoid douching, scented soaps, or anything that disrupts your natural pH. Number three, get evaluated. Persistent spotting, heavy bleeding, or discharge should be assessed by a provider. Ask about chronic endometritis testing or a microbiome analysis if you've had recurrent issues. And make sure you're up to date with your PAPs and swabs. Number four, ask about localized treatments. In perimenopause or menopause, low-dose vaginal estrogen can help restore lactobacillus levels, which helps bring back that microbiome balance and reduce inflammation. By understanding and supporting your microbiome, you can take charge of your health and get to the root of stubborn issues like fibroids, spotting, and recurrent infections. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe and share this video with someone who needs this information.